Hello, hello.
Hello,
Welcome,
hello,
everybody.
welcome
Oh,
everybody.
I forgot I have to mute
I have to mute
your
um,
slide since
your
we're getting a
slide
little
since
bit
we're
of
getting a little.
feedback. Okay, let me start that again. Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Diana Mayfield, and I'm the head of content here at Design Files. Today, we are back with another live workshop. We'll be diving into brand building and marketing for high-end clients with the wonderful Melissa Galt. Melissa, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
How are you doing?
I'm doing just great, thanks. Looking forward to diving into this.
Me too. Before we dive in, I just thought we would chat just for a second about a really interesting point of history in that you were the great granddaughter of Frank Lloyd Wright. I think that is so cool. Did that impact your choice to get into the design industry?
It honestly didn't, because I didn't realize that he was a big deal until I was already in design school and he was popping up in my textbooks. I was age 30 when I went to design school. It was second career for me. And I grew up with a very large mother in her career path. So I just didn't connect all the dots.
That is so cool. That must have been a surprise then.
It was. Seeing him in my textbooks, I'm like, huh, he was a big deal. Interesting.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Awesome. So we can dive right into things. Yeah, so you can take it away. And guys, I just wanted to mention that there's not going to be much time for Q&A today. We might not be able to get into any Q&A. But Melissa has said that you can reach out to her. You can, find her on her website or social media if you have any questions. Today is going to be a really meaty and thorough presentation, which is why we are probably not going to get to Q&A. So just know that you can reach out to her and go ahead and take it away.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Diana. Okay, so the title here is slightly different than what you've been given, but it is exactly the same content because I couldn't fit a title that long on my slide. So we're going with what affluent clients want most in a designer today. And everything that I'm going to teach you here is proven, tested by designers across the country and around the globe. If you have questions, pop them in the chat. You never know. If I get a chance, I will gladly answer them. I am wildly easy to find on social media. Melissa Galt. You got the spelling of my name in the StreamYard images. So let's dive into this. What is a successful business? And I'm sharing this definition because I want to make sure that we're on the same page. And this is both my definition and that of the designers that I coach. And it's a business that informs and inspires, fuels and feeds, and serves and supports the whole of your life. It does not swallow you whole. And this is a really important distinction because I know way too many designers who are on the fast path to burnout. You're undercharging, you're undervalued, and you're running really hard. And I want to pull you off that track. And the training today is one of the key ways I can help you do that. So I have been where you are. I spent the first 5 years of my business saying yes to absolutely everyone, being completely non-discerning and just about burying myself, and was on the fast path to burnout. When I had an epiphany moment, and I got really clear on my ideal clients, I took my workload from 70 hours a week to 40. I took my clients from 40 clients, not lying about that, and I had one assistant and one intern, to 10, and my revenue still doubled because I had been leaving money and opportunity on the table with those clients, and they were my dream clients. And I still know each and every one of them today. So this is what I want to show you how to do. So what you're going to learn with me here today are 5 types of affluent clients worth working with. There are 9 types in my book, Marketing Luxury Design, which if you haven't read it, you want a copy, go to my website, melissagalt.com. It's not on Amazon. That was deliberate. I inscribe each copy. You get a personalized copy from me with a note card and a bookmark and an inscription. So there are 9 types, but there's 5 that are really the most optimal. There are 16 places in the book, and I'm giving you about 10 of those here today about where to meet affluent clients and get hired. And I want you to write something down for me here. Is proximity leads to profit. I'm a big one on sticky notes, and I'm big on writer downers. And you don't have to screenshot, although you're welcome to, and I'll show you the way around that in just a moment. I'm going to share with you 13 brand essentials to capture premium clients. These are simple, they're fun, and they're crazy powerful. I want to show you how to be selective in your work to build a luxury brand and how to create luxury experiences for word of mouth buzz. Now, this is basically 3 trainings kind of smooshed into one because I really wanted to over deliver today. So we're going a little fire hose. Please know that I care deeply about your success and I want you to reach out. I will do everything in my power to answer any questions that you have. Okay. So the definition of luxury today, it's not about bling. It's not about labels and brands. What it's about is the journey of design. And the journey is actually more important than the destination. And this is something that a lot of designers forget about. We are accustomed to the frustrations, the stress, the hiccups, the challenges. We're used to that. Well, guess what? Clients aren't. So you've got to create this first-class experience for them that gets them, when they get to that destination, they're like, oh, but our journey was so epic and amazing. And that's what I want to see happen for you. So according to Chris Ramey, who is a colleague of mine and the founder of the Home Trust, most quoted expert in luxury marketing today, you don't sell to the affluent. You don't sell to the elite. You fascinate and match values. Where you're seen, with whom you're associated, and what you believe are as important as what you're selling, and certainly more important than price. And if by any wild chance you saw Inventing Anna on Netflix, I am not in any way suggesting that you be manipulative or that you lie. Completely unnecessary. However, Anna is a wonderful example of where she was seen, whom she was associated with, how she dressed, how she spoke, how she behaved. All of these in her role were calculated. You can do it organically. But I want to use that example because just about everybody knows that one. So this is how you avoid your screenshots. You can screenshot all you want. I can tell you from my personal experience, every time I screenshot, I never go back to those screenshots. So I've got 3 success guides, completely my gift to you for capturing elite clients that's going to cover everything we're going through. And I'm actually going to put a link in our chat. I'm going to paste that in there so that you have it. But you've also got the QR code right here, and you've also got the link here. So I wanted to make sure you had everything that you needed to move forward. So let's keep rocking and rolling. There are 5 types of affluent clients worth working with. And the first one are the millionaires next door. I love these folks. I've worked with a lot of them. I had my practice in Atlanta for 30 years. And this is a very true description. Unassuming neighborhoods, been in the same home 20 years. Warren Buffett is the billionaire next door, been in the same home 30 years. The man could buy and sell a small country, but he doesn't. They live on less than 7% of their income. Their home value is often just $750 to $1.5 million, unless they're in California, in which case it's probably going to be $1.5 to $3 million, because California is kind of upside down to the rest of the country when it comes to home values. 2/3 are self-employed. All of mine were entrepreneurs. They were all business owners, and they don't read design magazines. They are busy building their business, building their career paths with their family. They're very family centric. And they will hire an expert to do it for them. I have clients that I did 4 homes for them. One of them was down in Bonaire, and I did it sight unseen. And 4 years later, they invited me down for a week and they certified me in scuba because they were both instructors. It was just maverick. They all became friends of mine, and they're really grounded. They're easy to educate into the value, and they really appreciate relationships. So millionaires next door are a great one to work with. Fast spenders of quick riches. We had a lot of these in Atlanta. Lottery winners, sudden business success, signed to a major sports team, musicians who have a hit. They love flash and sizzle, appreciate brand labels, and they read modern luxury and luxe. Here's what you got to know. Fast spenders, quick riches. This means that the riches are coming in quickly and they're spending them just as fast. Get paid up front. The riches may not be there tomorrow. These are not folks who know how to manage their money well, and it really will be quick come, quick go. But they're great to work with because they will want the biggest, the brightest, the best, and they're going to want luxury. And they can be a lot of fun. So dynamic dinks. Dinks stands for dual income, no kids. Sinks and dinks were often my best clients. Single income, no kids is a sink. Dual income, no kids is a dink. They're power couples, or it's a power individual. Internet savvy and AI fluent. They know what they like. They read Forbes and AD, and they appreciate high quality, and they are easily bored. That means if you hang on to these as clients, they're either going to be redesigning or redecorating in 3 to 5 years, or they're going to be moving. They're often moving because they're often in high-powered positions, they're being promoted, or they're part of a startup and they're moving around to other offices. But fabulous clients to work with. They really are. Lavish spenders who always look good. Who's going to say no to that? It just sounds fun, doesn't it? They don't have the time or desire to DIY. They're members of country clubs. They fly private jets, luxury travel and lifestyle. They're often empty nesters, or they're in their mid 40s or so, which are peak earning years. They read the Rob Report, and they love to entertain family and friends. So again, this is another wonderful category to play with. And then the retired world travelers ready for their forever home. Anytime you've got somebody who wants a forever home, it's going to be an opportunity to have a larger project, to have a deeper dive into design. They are the most educated of all affluents. They drive SUVs and luxury cars. They read Condé Nast Traveler and Afar. And they have collections to incorporate. Collections are awesome because you're designing the home around the collections. And they want family-friendly grandkids and adult kid luxury. So they want high performance, a lot of texture. They want it to be durable, and they want it to be low maintenance, but they want it to have a high look. And they're often, if they're millionaires next door and retired world travelers, and you can have cross sections among these, you will find that they are often doing family compounds. Those clients of mine that had the 4 homes and they did the scuba diving certification in Bonaire, they ultimately wound up building a family compound. They are that family centric. So food for thought. Which one of these tickles your fancy? Which one of these is the most interesting for you to pursue? Or can you take a look at your current clients and go, I wonder if one of my existing clients fits these profiles. You might be surprised. So those of you that don't know me, I'm going to share a little bit about my backstory. Your success is truly my mission and my goal. I want you having ideal clients that you love, larger projects with bigger investments, the compensation that you deserve based on the long-term value of design, and we're going to get to that. Team to give you the time for an extraordinary life, and the design business that you love. You got into design because you loved it. You didn't get in to sacrifice your life to it. Now, my design business is where I experimented for over 30 years, so you don't have to. I've experimented with every aspect: letter of agreement, rates and fees, project management, time management, team building, marketing, everything to do with marketing. Okay. So I've made all the mistakes. I've got all the proven, tested, true processes, systems, and strategies to share. And that makes all the difference. We work with 5 proven profit pillars in design business freedom: marketing and sales, rates and fees, systems and processes, team building, and design delivery. And we roll them into design business freedom so that you have a client attraction system at the front of your business. You've got the money system. I've never met a designer whose rates I didn't increase or move them over to flat fee, or both. The freedom system, which comes from your systems and processes, the talent system, that's your team building, and the scale system, which is your design delivery. So you need all of these. And one size does not fit all. And I share this because there are a lot of coaches in our field. There's a lot of great coaches, and there's some, less than great coaches. Now, why would I share this? Because I want you to understand that you are unique. You are a one of a kind. There is no other design firm principal on the planet that shares your exact combination of education, experience, expertise, talent, hobbies, and interests. And that means that your business needs to be tailored for you. And everything that I teach you is customizable for you and your business. If there's something you don't like, I have designers who love to network, and I have other designers who are like, no way, Melissa, I'm not going to network ever. Okay, that's fine. The ones that love to network, we boot them out the door with 5 or 6 places they can get busy networking, and then they drop what doesn't work and they keep what does. And then the others, we have other options. I'm going to share a bunch of those other options because I don't know very many designers who love to network. So you're going to get it all here today. And in case you're wondering, maybe you've seen me at Market. I love going to High Point Market. I go twice every year. I've done Vegas Market. I've done Design Edge, which is a traveling High Point Market, so to speak, 5 times in different cities. There is nothing more fun than meeting you in person. So if you're going to be at High Point, come find me. I'll be at Universal Furniture 10 a.m. on Saturday, and I'll be at the Antiques and Design Center at noon on Sunday. And I would love to meet you in person, toe to toe. Wonderful fun. So I'm going to share a couple of stories of designers that I've worked with who started out in frustrated places. When Danielle and I first met, she really wasn't even sure she was going to stay in design. And she was feeling burned out. Her team wasn't working well for her. She wasn't getting the large projects that she wanted. And we were able to get her completely transformed. She still holds the record among my clients for the highest renovation fee at $35 a square foot. She built a VIP paid wait list with a 6-month ramp on it. You have the very same ability, and it helps you to control your workload. She's now taking routine vacation. She's got improved balance. We replaced her team, and she doubled her revenue in less than a year. She's off the burnout track, and it made a huge difference. So I just want you to know this is real. This is true. I share where these designers are located, how long they've been in business, and the name of their firm. If you ever want to reach out, you are most welcome to do so. So where to meet affluent clients and how to connect. So let's take a look at this. Business and social clubs. If you are on your phone, not for this training, and have the ability to look up something called invited clubs, I get nothing out of this, by the way, other than a warm, fuzzy feeling. Invited clubs used to be Club Corp. And invited clubs is all over the country. In Atlanta alone, we had 4 of them. And it's a phenomenal opportunity for a very low investment per month. It changed a little bit after the pandemic, but right now I think you can get in for about $300 a month plus your food and beverage, which is a steal compared to a country club, which is often 50 to 100K, and you've got to live in the neighborhood, so to speak. So very different, but there are business and social clubs around the country that you could join and become a part of. And you could go and remote work out of the lounge. You could go to the different events that they have and meet fellow members. You never have to pitch or sell anybody. Just show up, be yourself, and be interested in others to form connections and ultimately talk a little bit about design. And those that are interested will lean in and become clients. It works. Client of mine, Anna, out of Washington, D.C., we had her join the Tower Club, which is an invited club. She'd been there for about 30 days when management came to her and said, Anna, we know you're a new member here, but we'd like to get you to bid on our remodel. This is unbelievable. And Anna bid it and she landed the job, which meant she had visibility throughout the club. And it was the largest job she'd taken on to date. And Anna is a K&B designer. And one of the reasons she hired me was to move her into becoming a full service in furnishings. And this was a fantastic way to do both. So it really can work beautifully. Start exploring invited clubs in your area. There are still at least 4 in Atlanta that I know of, and there are probably over 100 in the network across the country. So if you're in any kind of major city or even a second-tier city, check for invited clubs. Ordinary that becomes luxurious. Now, I personally am not a horseback rider, so I wouldn't consider this ordinary, but for those designers that I've worked with, that horseback riding is something ordinary that they do. They love it, and they do it on a routine basis, unless they allowed their business to take over their schedule, like Jenna had. And when Jenna came to me, she was on the burnout path. She was working in Chicago, and she had given up horseback riding, which was her love. And I said, Jenna, where do your ideal clients come from? She got really quiet, and she thought about it, and she said, horseback riding. I said, Jenna, go get a horse. And I wasn't kidding. 2 weeks later, Jenna had leased Ernie, her horse. A year later, her business bought Ernie so that her firm is front and center in all of the catalogs when she shows and rides Ernie around the country. She has since relocated to Lexington, Kentucky, which is major horse country, to work with her mom together in their design practice. And still today, it is one of their number one lead generators is showing and riding Ernie. So if you are an equestrian or have a love of horses, that is a very tight, very high-end community. And you won't have to sell or pitch. You simply need to get busy being visible and getting connected. It really does make a difference. And Jenna cut back her schedule to start riding 2 days a week because that's her best lead generator. So really big silver lining here. Collect for more cash. It sounds a bit crass, but it's absolutely true. Are you getting to art events? Are you getting to auctions? Are you getting to the places that affluent clients, that elite clients hang out? Now, in some cases, they're going to have a buyer's agent working for them, but in other cases, they'll be there directly. And no, you do not have to buy anything. You can register, and in my case, I'd have to sit on my hands to stop the paddle from going up in the air. But these can be really fun, educational opportunities, inspiring. And if you show up a little early and you stay a little after, you get to strike up conversations with various people there. And they are in a place where they can collect and invest. You can always ask, what room in your home are you planning to put that in? Or what inspired you to collect this particular artist? If you want to go to local gallery openings, find out about the artists that are being shown. Go to the gallery a few days in advance, maybe show up when they're hanging it, and get into conversation with the owner or some of the staff there. so you know a little bit more, and the night of the show, you can come in feeling confident. But this is a really fun way to go. And I've gotten great referrals from art galleries because they know I love to place art. Invest in sports for luxury success. So what sports am I talking about? Tennis is a good one. I've got a client in Chicago, Kristen, who said, Melissa, I love to play tennis and I haven't been playing in a while. And I said, well, why don't you go join a club? And she did. She found a very well-priced club she could join. And I hadn't seen her in a couple of years when about a month ago, I went to Chicago and I took 5 of my clients to lunch one day. And she sat in front of my 4 other clients and she said, every single project she's had, every single client she's had has come from tennis. Whether it was someone she played on the court, whether it was an event she went to because of her membership, whether it was a referral from one of them, every single one came from tennis. So again, she's doing something that she loves and she's having fun with it. Meanwhile, she's meeting well-heeled potential clients. And this is what I want for you. This is the proximity leads to profit. I want you taking your lifestyle up a notch, but I want you out having fun. You are at your most magnetic and memorable when you are having fun. I have designers build their practices around pieces like this so you don't have to do what I call icky marketing. Okay? Now, Kristen also happens to enjoy networking, and she is in one networking group. That was her choice. That was absolutely her choice. I never force a fit. If somebody looked at me and said, Melissa, I hate tennis and I hate horses and I hate networking, I'd be like, hang on, I got 10 more we can go through, okay? So there's always something that will fit you. And I'm going to show you what I mean. Ha, here we go. If you like wine, instead of going to the corner wine shop for the free tasting on Friday night, find a wine tasting that's an investment. Maybe it's $75. Maybe it's a wine dinner that's $250 or $550. Or maybe it's a wine week. In Atlanta, there's the High Museum of Art, and they have a wine auction and a wine week. In Naples, Florida, they have a wine week. And in Naples, it's $15K for a couple to attend wine week. Now, I have a client who attended with her husband, and she looked at me and she said, Melissa, I land one project from the people that I meet at wine week, it's paid for itself. Now, she's at a different level of the market. I have designers who are more in the beginning stages, and I have designers who are established. But wherever you are, you can fit yourself into fun activities. Take your spouse or your partner, take a friend with you. I have one designer down in Florida who has a life partner, and he has his own business. And they found that they're looking for the same pool of clients. They're not competing with each other. So they joined the Polo Club. And they go to those kind of events. Polo Club is not a high dollar investment, by the way. Sounds like it would be. And if your brain immediately goes to, well, I can't afford that, I want to encourage you to explore it. If you don't know how much it is, you can't tell me you can't afford it. Okay? So this is about up-leveling your life and having some fun while you're doing it, for goodness sakes. Educated clients buy more. I got a couple of my early and best clients from teaching at evening at Emory University in Atlanta. Now, I was teaching evening classes. These were to busy professionals. It wasn't students, okay? It was busy professionals. And after 6 weeks with me, they were like, you know, I've learned a lot, Melissa, but I can't possibly do this myself. I want to hire you. Yes. One was an attorney, another one was in tech. They both had quality investments, and I worked with one until he married and moved, and I worked with the other for the better part of 25 years. So they are lifetime clients. And if you are hearing background, I did close the door, and my kitty cat's a little distraught because she's not used to being closed out, but she's a little distracting too. So If you are in a position where you could teach evening ed to busy professionals, I would highly recommend it if you have a university or college in your area, or if you wanted to partner up with a boutique that does not offer design services, and do a pop-up 4 times a year and put on an educational about design and use that as a lead generator. Educated clients buy more. Mining your past for profit is all about looking at where you've been to school. So did you go to college? Did you go to a university? Did you go to a local high school? Have you stayed in touch with the folks there? If you haven't, get in touch with your alumni organizations and start to explore different activities. My very first client came from a postcard mailing that I did in Atlanta over 30 years ago now. One postcard mailing, not the 7 to 10 touches recommended, but one mailing. And turns out we both graduated from Cornell. They graduated 10 years after me, completely different major. But the fact that it was Cornell for 4 years and we both invested a whole whopping amount and been in the frozen tundra of upstate New York for 4 years was enough to create a connection. The point in all of this is to create points of connection that become points of profit. And I would have attracted additional Cornell alumni had I done more mailings. So that was so early in my career, I didn't know that you needed to do 7 to 10 touches. Now I know. So that alumni connection is really, really valuable. And it does not matter what university you went to, okay? It can be absolutely local university. It can be university that your spouse or partner went to. It can be universities that your kids are going to. You can tap into all of that. Profit partnerships, builders, architects, contractors, real estate agents, personal trainers, financial advisors are just a few of the many profit partners that you can have. Builders are by far and away your number one. You don't want to pitch them. You don't want to sell them. There is a very specific process without that you want to deploy that is another training. You can ask Diana if you want that at some future point in time, and I will walk you through it. But those type of partnerships can truly transform a business. I have a client out of Texas, and she landed her first builder partner while we were working together. He is still with her. It has been 2 years. She is back on board with me, working on some things again. And what I love is that he pre-sells her. He pre-sells her to his client. He says, and you'll be working with, and then names her. And if for any reason she and the client don't connect, the client will go find their own designer. But he loves her process so much that he doesn't want them to work with anyone else. And she gets paid directly by the client, which means she's making full design fees. If you work under or through the builder, architect, or contractor, you will make 50% of what you deserve because they're going to mark you up. So I want you being aware of that. But builder partners are the best. They absolutely are. And they are available in every market. Yes, some builders do have designers on staff. Okay, next. Some builders don't have designers on staff and aren't interested in working with you. Okay, next. You got to be willing to keep going. It makes all the difference in the world. And then meeting movers and shakers by committee. If you can get yourself onto some charitable organizations that you enjoy and like, whether it's 1 or 3, don't just donate, to a silent auction or donate money. Get involved. Get on a committee and you'll start to meet the movers and shakers behind the scenes. They are all well-heeled and they all have large networks. And it's one of the most valuable things you can do. And they're always looking for people to get involved. So I really think this is a phenomenal way I've done it. And it worked extremely well. So Lindsay's out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. I don't know if I've got any Oklahomans with me here today, but she was struggling with small projects, low profits, didn't have clarity on her ideal client, trapped in hourly billing. We changed all of that. Coaching gave her the confidence, and flat fees delivered her dream clients. More profit and less time. She is a young mom with 2 young kids at home, and her husband is an entrepreneur also. So she needed to lighten her workload while earning more. And that's what this is all about, earning more in less time with less stress with elite clients. Okay? So again, here are your success guides. I really think that this will make a huge difference for you, and you can reach out to me with questions at any time, really and truly. So 13 essential elements your brand needs to have to attract affluent clients. Let's dive into this. I want you to dress your brand. A lot of times we as designers get a little bit lazy about our dress, forgetting that we might run into a potential client at any given moment in time, including at the supermarket. Been there, done that, and wasn't dressed for it. So I share a couple of icons with you. Kelly Werschler with her signature stilettos. And this is Peter Marino. And Peter Marino started out in Armani suits and made a deliberate, strategic decision to go for the bad boy look. Full black leathers, rides a Harley, and skull and crossbone rings on this hand. And he is recognized the world over for this. So are you dressing your brand? Have some fun with this. What would your brand dress look like? What about seeing your brand? Rachel Moriarty is a great example here. She's always got fabulous oversized eyewear on. I wear eyewear because I have to at this stage of the game, but if I were to get LASIK and not wear, I'd probably have clear put in all of my glasses because I love wearing glasses now. It's fun. And make it a signature, either the same frame always or the same type of frames. One of my favorites is Great British Baking Show Prue Leith, who always has fabulous, colorful glasses. Bling your brand. Do you wear the same watch each day? Do you have certain jewelry that you wear all the time? I am normally in a particular artist jeweler out of Atlanta. I don't have her in today because she does a lot with Druzy. But I wear a lot of her pieces. She's one of my signatures and part of my brand. And a lot of it has to do with color for me and contemporary or modern. That's really important for me. So you can make it whatever works for you, but have fun with this. It doesn't have to be high dollar pieces. Okay. Mine aren't. Judy Rayford in Roswell, Georgia is my favorite jeweler. And go check her out online, Raiford. I love her pieces. Love her pieces. Drive your brand. Now, before I get in trouble with anybody who is going to say, I told them to go buy a new car. No, I am not telling you to go buy a new car. I am suggesting, however, that you maintain your car, because we've all had friends who've said, hey, come ride with me. And we're kind of like, no, thanks. I've seen the inside of your car. So you do want to maintain your car well. And there may be instances where you are in the space of up leveling your clientele and you want to rent a car that is at the next level. Corey Damon Jenkins did this when he was getting his business off the ground. He had a 10-year-old Honda. And he was like, that is not going to cut it. I need to get into these gated communities in Detroit and be able to knock on doors. So he went to Enterprise and he worked with Enterprise, and they guaranteed him the same car each time he rented. So it didn't look like he had a different car each time, because that would be kind of weird. And 779 doors later. So whenever you think you're ready to quit, you're ready to give up, you've tried enough, remember Corey Damon Jenkins and 779 doors. You can Google this. Now, I might be off on the number of doors. It might be 752, but it is a 700 number. I got 779 stuck in my head. And he did this with the car. I am not telling you to go buy a new car. I want to be very clear on this. But I do expect to see a car, if you want one, on your vision board. Okay. I had a Kia for ages after I had my Lexus spell. Then I went through my Kia spell, and now I'm in my Acura RDX spell. And it all happened because of my vision board. So there you go. Tech your brand. You are more than likely an Apple user, as is the majority of our industry, and you want all the Apple pieces. You want it to be coordinated. You can also put skins on the back of your iPad and your laptop, whether it's Mac or not, with your brand on it, which is a really good marketing tool. Business card your brand. Yes, we do still use business cards. My recommendation is moo.com, MOO.com, for cards that are either soft touch velvet or so heavy that people try to pull them apart, which is what they do with mine. Having a really quality business card matters, and how you present it matters. We do still use these. We're not strictly digital yet. Website your brand. You want to have an up-to-date, take a look at your footer. Does it say copyright 2025? Or at the time you view this, if you're watching it on replay, does it say copyright 2026? You need it to say that, and it needs to be up to date. If you are not updating your portfolio images, if you're not updating your own image, can we recognize you in a nanosecond? And there's a lot more in my podcasts, Design Business Freedom, on what you need on your website, especially your inquiry form. Okay? Social media, your brand. The reason we use social media today is as a precursor to get to your website. All of us are carrying around one of these things. Okay? So when we're in conversation with somebody and maybe they're going to say, hey, I'm looking for somebody who can work with me on remodeling our main floor. Oh, fantastic. I've got a great resource for you. I'm not going to go in and pull up your website. I'm going to go in and pull up your IG. It's so much easier. And then from your IG, they'll go to your website. So that's why you need to have a current, well-branded, and I want you in it. This is Justina Blakely. She's in it. I want you in yours 1 every 6 or 1 every 9. And I want you leveraging stories. It matters. Okay? Bill your brand. Do you have beautiful invoices? I think these are beautiful invoices. And I think every invoice should be beautiful. Now, if you're using Studio Designer, you're using, one of the softwares, DesignFiles, absolutely. You're using MyDoma for your invoicing. Whatever you're using for invoicing, it may not be changeable, but there are softwares out there that allow you to have a beautiful invoice. And I would encourage you to do that. Build your brand. Okay? Coif your brand. I love these shots. Kelly Hoppen, #1 designer out of London, has these gorgeous locks. And on the flip side is Michelle Boyd. You may know him from Bravo and TV out of Atlanta. Michelle made a conscious decision that bald is his look. And I think it looks great. But these are branded looks. They're not changing their hair every other week. They're not changing it every quarter. They're not changing the color. They're not changing the cut. When you change your color and your cut, you need to change your images. And I mean that because you want to be instantly recognizable. I work very hard at being recognizable 50 feet, front, back, side, and side, always. And I get people running up to me from the side and the back, not just the front. So it matters. Instant recognition means instant trust, instant confidence. Sip your brand. If you're into spirits, if you're into wine, learn a little something about them. You don't have to be into any of it. You can be alcohol-free, and mocktails are coming up very, very big right now. There are a lot of people giving up alcohol. Alcohol got very heavy during the pandemic. We were all trapped indoors, didn't know what to do. So, but if you're going to be in circles where you're doing wine tastings, where you may be going to a bourbon tasting, a whiskey tasting, something along those lines, you need to know a bit about how the spirit is made, how the wine is made, maybe a bit about the vintner, that sort of thing. And studying up on it can be a lot of fun so that you will feel confident in those circles, discussing it and finding out what your clients like to drink. That matters too. Travel your brand. Always look well pulled together when you're traveling. There is nothing sorrier. And if you happen to be in Atlanta and you've ever been to the Atlanta Mart, I'll never forget, every time we have cash and carry, you will see women pulling these very large waste bins. They're ginormous garbage cans from showroom to showroom, and that's where they're stashing all the goodies that they're buying, which I think is fairly hilarious. Definitely not well branded. So you want to be well branded when you travel, especially if you're traveling for your clients. And most designers that I know would be delighted to do design at a distance. You're less available and you make twice as much. Been there, did that, loved it, and would be happy to see you doing that. And then signature your brand. You need to have a quality email signature. I cannot stress this enough. Please include your phone number. You do not need to include your email. It's an email signature. We've already got your email address. But include your social media. You may want to include some photos. These are some great examples right here. Really matters. And landscape signage. This, by the way, is a phenomenal way to capture quality leads. Do not think this is cheap or tacky. It is not. Builders and architects have been leveraging it for decades. So have contractors. And too many designers are like, oh, Melissa, that feels cheap and tacky. No, please. You need the tall signs. Don't go something short and wobbly. My rule of thumb is a big dog should not be able to pee on it. Okay. And the most important part of the sign is not the name. I can't read her phone number and where's her QR code? I need a phone and a QR code and a URL. Those are the three most important pieces. Should be readable from a slow moving car. Okay. Really want to be able to do that. I would love you to order 5 signs, get 3 of them out on projects, and then order 3 more signs and put 3 more out on projects. And guess what? You can put 1 in your front landscape too. And notice I'm not calling it a yard sign. Really makes a difference. Okay. So Andrea grew team from her to 5, 4 times, quadrupled her revenues and off the burnout path. And she is a self-professed workaholic, 7 days a week, no vacation in 5 years. She and her family got their first vacay in 5 years. I am so proud of that. And home by 5 for family dinner nightly. Now, the fact that she still likes to work her weekends is her choice, but she has up-leveled her clientele exponentially and does large projects, remodel, new build, and has actually brought her husband into the practice with her. I love that. Now, again, the success guides are waiting for you, and we've got one more section to get through, okay? This is about being selective, laser focused, fewer, better clients for more profit and less stress. Let me share something interesting with you. When I had my big epiphany, I had 40 clients on board. 8 to 10 were the right clients. The rest were lovely people. There were some whiners, some complainers, some naysayers in there, some energy vampires, okay? But they zapped my time far more than my big ones did. And yet they were worth far less in terms of the dollars and cents I got from those projects. And I bet you've discovered the same thing. So I want you having better projects for more creative growth, standout opportunities to inspire and fuel your social channels, larger projects that require fewer team members. You don't have to have a large team. I have teams that I work with where you have the principal and 2 or 3 in team at multiple 7 figures. I have others that I work with that have, 4 or 5 in team and they're multiple 6 figures. That feels a little heavy to me. I'd like some of that to be outsourced online to keep you nimble and flexible. Larger projects require fewer team members. And I want the best of your work, not all of it, for your website portfolio. And the right awards to submit for recognition, not all awards. Submitting for awards is a lot of work. Okay? Now, first-class client care, because I promised to show you how to create word-of-mouth buzz, friendly for add-on sales. irresistible and personal, referral generating, schedule it, talkable, aka buzzable. So you want to incorporate this. Ultimate customization, your brand on custom case goods, on custom cabinetry, on custom upholstery frames, on custom vanities, on custom tables. Yes, this is possible. Anytime you have a custom piece built, you can put your own brand marker on it. It doesn't have to be the literal, brand stamp. It can be a little metal plate with the name of your firm. Private label. You can private label upholstery, drapery, pillows and throws, bedding, and rugs. And you can order the labels literally right off of Google. This is not hard to do. And what it does is it makes you the source. So that when somebody's sitting at your client's home and they're really enjoying themselves and they're looking around like going, wow, I really like this sofa. And they flip up a cushion, your deck label is sitting there, not the deck label of the manufacturer, your deck label. So this is a whole separate training, but I wanted to share some teasers to get you thinking about what's possible and why you would want to do that. Because if you're the source, they can't go anyplace else. You want to be the source. Personalize. Monograms, even in contemporary and modern interiors, can work really well. Robes, bedding, towels, linens, glassware, totes, and office accoutrement, so to speak. So a blotter, the leather cup holder, pieces like that can all be monogrammed. You probably haven't thought of it in ages, but at the elite levels of the market, it is something that is used. Okay? Be a design detective. Get the client intel that you need, their preferences, their favorites, their allergies and sensitivities, whether they're a drinker or a teetotaler. Never guess or assume. And I'm always surprised when I ask designers, how well do you know your client? Could you get them the right kind of bottle of wine right now? And they're like, no. Do you know, are they white, milk, or dark? That's chocolate. They're like, no. You need to know these things. A simple questionnaire like this at the beginning in the onboarding process will give you maverick intel that you can then use throughout the project. Now, sweet or unsweet, if you're not from the South, it may not sound familiar. That's tea. You got to ask flat or sparkling, that's water. There are those of us that don't do sparkling. And then do they have a favorite spirit? On bath remodels, you need to know the answer to these questions. I have a client who's scent free. I literally can't wear cologne or even hairspray. She will be triggered. And I had to learn that very early, and I had to really remember it because otherwise it would create a reaction for her. And if you give somebody lavender in a beautiful bath basket and they're eucalyptus people, that's not going to land very well. So you're crawling inside their life. You're an integral member of their home, if not their family, for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 2 and 3 years, sometimes 5 years with design. You need to know about these preferences. Same thing with kitchen remodels. If you gave somebody a beautiful basket, turns out they're gluten-free and 90% of the basket has gluten, that looks thoughtless. So you've really got to be strategic and smart about how you're doing this. Nail down these pieces of information. It will make a difference. And then you create a master care list. You don't have to do this. You can have an intern or an assistant do this. Apply select personalized goodies to every project by timeline and order as needed at the front of each project to surprise and delight. Remember, we need to remediate the frustrations that come up that we think nothing of, but for them, it's going to be a big deal. So I want you creating these little special moments. What you've learned in a very short period of time is the 5 types of affluent clients worth working with, where to meet affluent clients and get hired, the 13 brand essentials to capture premium clients, be selective in your work to build a luxury brand. Saying yes to everyone is not how to do it. I did that for the first 5 years and it just about broke me. And then creating luxury experiences for word of mouth buzz. When they get into their brand new primary bedroom and they see a bottle of champagne in an ice bucket, a silver ice bucket, with a beautiful plate of truffles, their favorite chocolate truffles, and a pair of monogrammed glasses, you don't think they're going to take a picture of that and send it to their dear friend or a neighbor or a family member? They may or may not share it online, but they're sharing it because that's the same experience they'd have in the 5-star hotel they love so much. Do you know your client's favorite hotel? Not the chain, the actual hotel. Because the chain, Marriott has high and low. Hilton has high and low. Hyatt has high and low. You need to know which one they want to stay at. It matters. So this is how your design business can feel with Design Business Freedom. And you can find me and the podcast and all my social media at the QR code that's here. I would love to hear from you. I really would. I'm delighted to answer any questions that you have. I will do everything in my power to support you. And if you have particular topics you'd like me to touch on for the podcast, just reach out to me. I'm delighted to do that as well. And you've got the link for the downloads for you today.
Thank you so much, Melissa. That was awesome. Super detailed. I love all of the examples. And I agree, we are going to have you come back probably to talk about the, building partnerships with, build firms. So yes, that was amazing. And guys, I want to share in the chat here the link to Melissa's freebie. So you can go to melissagalt.com/luxury clients, and you'll get some awesome resources there. And I also have to recommend The Language of Success with the 35 word choices that Melissa wrote. Sorry, my voice is a little froggy today. This is actually like really cool. It's like simple but profound. And I think it kind of carries forward some of these like mindset shifts and, kind of confidence boosters. So I would definitely recommend getting that book for sure. Yeah, thank you so much, Melissa. We really appreciate having you, and we definitely want to have you back.
My pleasure, absolutely. And again, anything I can do, if you get questions afterwards, just reach out, let me know. I'm happy to take care of everybody who has any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, everybody, we will see you guys next month for another live workshop. Hope everybody has a great day. Bye.
Thanks, Marianne. Bye.